All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I've been going through a series and creating a series of video presentations based on the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. I'm in the JavaScript portion, and we're talking objects, and we are continuing on with object prototypes. And as mentioned here earlier on, we showed how the object create could be used to create a new instance. So if we come in here and we do this, in essence, what we're doing is we're copying object 1 into object 2. By doing that, save. Now, if we come through here and we type in person 2 and hit enter, it says they're not defined. Well, we may have to refresh. And now notice we get person 2. We hit enter. All right. And we've got the same stuff that we had in there basically for person 1. What create actually does is to create a new object from a specified prototype object. Here, person 2 is being created, and the prototype object is person 1. It says we can check this out by doing this, and it should then return to us the person 1 object information. The constructor property. Every constructor function has a prototype property, as it says, whose value is an object containing a constructor property. The constructor property points to the original constructor function. Properties defined on the person.prototype property become available to all instance objects created using the person constructor. All right, so it says, let's try these two. All right. So let's try to put these commands into the console and see what they end up returning to us for us. All right. And if we do the same thing and put it in again, whoops, but it's person 2 dot constructor. I think it's going to be the same thing both times, and it's got in there basically what's common to both objects. They should both return the person constructor as it contains the original definition of these instances. A clever trick is that you can put parentheses onto the end of the constructor property to create another object instance from that constructor. So they want us to try this in code. And what do we have here? New person 1 dot constructor. But basically what we're doing is, notice instead of Tammy, it's Karen. Instead of Smith, it's Stevenson, etc. We've got a different age, we've got a different gender, we've got different interests as well. If I save that, come back to here, and put in person 3, you'll notice that as we do that, we've got female, 26, etc. All right. All right, we're having a little meeting here on the side, so let me pause. All right, sorry about that. So, okay, we've come in here and we've done that. What if we type in person 3 dot underscore underscore proto underscore underscore. And you can see exactly what we get then. All right, so we should be able to do this stuff too. Let's try that quickly. Yep, that was Karen. What else did we have here? Age and bio. I think that the 3.age was at 26, and the bio. All right, mountain climbing, etc. Okay. All right then, as we continue on, modifying prototypes. Let's have a look at an example of modifying a prototype property of a constructor functions. So they want us to go back to this and make a local copy of the source code. Okay. All right, so we've got that. Below the existing JavaScript, add the following code, which adds a new method to the constructor's prototype property. So we're adding this farewell method right here. So we're adding, it says, below the existing JavaScript, add this. So what we're doing here is we are adding, using the prototype. It's as though we're coming in and not as though. Basically what we're doing is we're adding a new method to the person class. All right. So if I copy this, and put it in right down at the bottom here. All right, so there that is. And save. And it says reload the page in the browser and put in person1.farewell. So we have saved it. It's been saved. But we do have to go back in here and then we'll have to refresh for that change to take place. And we should then be able to type in person3.farewell. All right, and we're getting here person3 is not defined. Sorry about this. All right. Save the code and add person1.farewell. Now, I believe for this to take place, I think it may not even work for person1. Oh, well, we'll try it. Well, you'll notice it sees it, so that's good. And it says, Tammy has left the building, bye for now. All right. How about person2? We're going to get the same error, I think, which says basically that it's not defined because the only one that we've defined here, since we've been back and rewrote this, was person 1. All right. Now it says, think about this for a moment. In our code, we define the constructor, then we create an instance object from the constructor, then we add a new method to the object's prototype. That's exactly what we did right here. But the farewell method is still available on the person1 object instance method. Its members have been automatically updated. So even though we define this after we define that. All right. Okay, so just about finished here. Again, I'm getting another message here, so give me a second to answer that message, and then we'll finish up this session. All right, again, I apologize. We're kind of having a quasi Microsoft Teams meeting between the 3 and EWD instructors, but let me try to finish this up here. All right. So, as it says, you will rarely see properties defined on the prototype property because they are not very flexible. For example, you could add something like this, but again, it's not very flexible. This would work, but it says here this would not work. That's because this will be referencing the global scope in this case and not the function scope. So it's going to return undefined. In fact, a fairly common problem for more object definitions is to define the properties inside of the constructor. Okay? This makes the code easier to read. Plus, it's more in vogue with the way that most languages do it. All right, so that's it. There's a test your skills, which I'd strongly recommend that you go through. This article, as it says, covered JavaScript object prototypes, how to use prototype chains, etc. In the next one, we'll look at how you can implement inheritance between 2 of our own custom objects. So we'll get into that in just a couple moments.